Welcome to your Daily Dopamine with Dr. Joe McCullough, where we deliver daily doses of education, entertainment, and inspiration. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be dopamine, dopamine, dopamine. Oh, yeah.
All right. I still got to get used to that new introduction. Cracks me up. Fiber purchase. Welcome, Cannon Farm. So those of you joining on the replay, thank you so much. Those of you joining live, welcome. Today, what we are talking about is how to double your reading speed. This is part 2 of a 3-part series I went through a little bit on yesterday. And today we're going to continue. Cannon Farm, welcome. So a little bit of background. Most people, the average adult reads about 200 to 250 words per minute. What I'm going to give you is 5 simple strategies to double your reading speed to go from about, let's say, 200 and 250 words per minute up to 400 to 500 words per minute, maybe even 600 words per minute. Now, there have been claims of speed reading where people say they can read 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 words per minute and still comprehend what you're reading. And a lot of the research is showing that as reading speeds get beyond, let's say, 600 or 700 or 800 words per minute, comprehension drops dramatically. What I'm going to give you is 5 simple strategies that, if you use them all, good thing, because I'm completely overwhelmed by my bookshelf of books waiting to be read. And actually, the reason I decided to do this scope this week is because I'm in the same situation. I have a ton of books backlog of books that I need to read. A couple things about speed reading. One, I don't think that you can speed read everything. In terms of technical books, I couldn't speed read a textbook or something with a lot of technical information. If I'm reading a book for pleasure, definitely speed read. If I'm reading Stephen King or some kind of science fiction book, you can speed read that. But if you're talking about reading a textbook, reading something technical, extremely difficult to read quickly and still maintain comprehension. So, getting that out of the way, speed reading is useful in certain circumstances, but trying to speed read a technical document, a textbook, can be very challenging. So let me first go through, actually, I didn't even introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Joe. I'm the physics program chair at Cabrillo College in Santa Cruz, California, and I'm also a best-selling author of Accelerated Learning Techniques for Students. And I speak and train teachers and students about the brain, how to learn quickly and how to teach more effectively. And I'm on Periscope every day. Today, I think, is day 55, 56 in a row. So what we're talking about today is how to double your reading speed. Woo, get psyched. So let me first go through the 5 barriers that prevent people from reading faster, and then I'll give you the first 3 of 5 simple techniques to help you double your reading speed. Okay, so what prevents people from reading faster? The first one, and the big one, is sub-vocalization. What this means is internally saying the words to yourself as you're reading along. And one of the reasons this kills reading speed is because people generally speak around 150 words per minute. Auctioneers and things like that can go up to maybe 400 words per minute. But if you want to read faster, you have to get rid of sub-vocalization, because that's going to limit your reading speed to how quickly you can talk, or at least how quickly you can say the words to yourself mentally. Second thing that kills reading speed is reading one word at a time, or fixation. So if you watch somebody's eyes as they read, their eyes tend to dart back and forth and then fixate on a word and then move to the next one and fixate. Well, what you want to start to train yourself to do is read in blocks of 3 to 4 words at a time. Not only is this going to increase your reading speed, but it's also going to increase comprehension, because we tend to understand the meaning of phrases as a group of 3 or 4 words together, not single words at a time. Barrier number 3, 2, reading faster, hard to break. That's how we learn to sub-vocalize. Yes, true, and I'm going to show you a program that I use to help reduce sub-vocalization. But let me say, it takes practice. We're very used to reading aloud, at least internally, as we read along. It's not easy. Okay, 3, third barrier to reading faster is rereading, also called regression, where we go back and we read sentences or words or things like that, we want to read it the first time so we understand it and we don't have to reread it. So those are the big 3 barriers that prevent people from reading faster are subvocalization, reading one word at a time, and rereading. Let's see that. Why, thank you, El Mucho Russo. Charlie Farp, welcome. Annabelle, welcome. Okay, 2 more barriers to reading faster are 1, reading in a non-optimal state. See this MEP stands for mental, emotional, and physical. People never really think about preparing the mind to read, but simply getting in the optimal state can dramatically increase both reading speed and comprehension. And the very last one we'll talk about is not using your peripheral vision. So I'll go through this later, but if you can start to train yourself to use your peripheral vision more, you can start to read faster. I agree, if your brain gets waxed over, may as well just stop. Yes, and I tell this to my students all the time. In fact, I lead them through a relaxation process called the alpha state process, designed to get their brain in the optimal brainwave state called alpha state. Annabelle shared on Twitter. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's go through the first 3 of 5 simple strategies to double your reading speed. Do I have a book? I do have a book called Accelerated Learning Techniques for Students. I do touch on speed reading in that, but it's more about how to learn faster. Okay, what are we gonna do? Number 1. Okay, the very first step, the very first simple strategy. What grade do I teach? I teach college physics. Thank you for asking. The first strategy we're gonna look at is prepare your state. Mental, emotional, and physical. Now, I'm not going to go through the alpha state process, but if you really want to read faster, think about spending a minute or 2 getting in the optimal mental, emotional, and physical state. Now, optimal physical state, if you're completely exhausted, it's extremely challenging to try and read when you can barely keep your eyes open. So let's say you're trying to review for a test and you're reading over some notes. It's much better to actually spend a few minutes, get some aerobic exercise, get your body moving and energized before sitting down and trying to study, especially if you're tired. Emotional and physical, you want to make sure you're in an upbeat, positive mood, upbeat, positive atmosphere. You want to feel good about yourself and what you're about to read. If you sit down to read when you're feeling anxious or stressed, it's going to prevent you from taking in information as quickly as you can and remembering it. So the very first thing you want to think about, if you really want to read faster, spend some time, get yourself into an optimal state. Don't try and read if you're stressed or anxious or tired. Spend the time getting into a better state. Can you put your book up again so I can snap a picture of it? I'm getting a degree in, will I put my book up again? Sure, you can take a screenshot. It is Accelerated Learning Techniques for Students. Quick little plug, it hit #1 in study guides in 7 different countries. Woohoo! You should blink more. You're like the 4th or 5th or 6th person that has told me that. Apparently I don't blink enough when I'm doing these scopes. Okay, number 2, and this is the big one. This is simple strategies for how to double your reading speed. Eliminate sub-vocalization. You want to stop saying the words to yourself as you're reading aloud. Now, I've said this is extremely challenging. 2 things you can do. 1, just be conscious and aware of when you're doing it and try and cut down on it. Takes practice, but the one thing that I like to do is there's an awesome website called Spreeder, SPREEDER.com. And let me turn this around and show it to you. Okay, so what Spreeder does is you can get a bunch of text, let me see if I can zoom this in, that you want to read faster. And what you can do is set up on here under settings. I don't know how you can, well, you can see this, but you can tell it how many words you want to read at a time and your reading speed. So I have this set for 3 words at a time, 500 words per minute. Save this, and then when I hit play, what it's going to do is flash words in groups of 3 at a rate of 500 words per minute. And you can adjust that to whatever speed you want and as many different words at a time. So watch, let me pause this, go back to settings. Let's make it 4 words at a time and bump the speed up to 600 words per minute. Hit save, and again, so it'll just start going through and it's showing you line 4 words at a time, 600 words per minute. Now, so how can you use this to get rid of subvocalization? Well, if you practice reading faster than you can actually say the words out loud, the more you do it, the more you're going to stop saying the words internally. So subvocalization means to say the words to yourself internally as you read them. The problem with subvocalization is you can only then read as fast as you can speak out loud, or at least speak internally. So training your brain to stop subvocalizing is one of the keys to speed reading. Check out Spreeder. Try it for yourself. It's kind of cool. You cut and paste text inside the little box. Tell it how many words per minute you want to read and how many words you want to display at a time. Okay, and then third one is use a visual guide. This alone can almost double your reading speed. When you're using a visual guide, what you're doing is using your finger as a guide. And what you're doing is you're moving your finger across the page. I put the finger right under the words that I'm going to read, and then you use your finger to guide your eyes as you're reading. And the reason this helps with reading speed is our eyes tend to dart back and forth as we're reading. And what we want to do is train our eyes to read in a steady motion. So by using your finger as a visual guide, 1, you can help your eyes stop backtracking, and then 2, you can actually control the rate at which you're reading. If you want to read faster, you move your finger faster. If you want to read slower, you move your finger slower. Really cool exercise to do if you want to sort of check this out for yourself. Ask somebody to trace a circle around your face just with their eyes without using their hand. So what you'll see is their eyes, as they are tracing a circle around your head, are constantly bouncing back and forth, called saccadic movements. If then they trace a circle around your head using a finger, you'll see that the motion is much smoother. Your eyes are really good at following motion. So using your finger to guide your eyes can more than double your reading speed, or at least double it, let's say. And then the last, actually that's it for today. What I wanted to go through is 5 simple strategies for doubling your reading speed. I went through the first 3 today. They are: 1, prepare your state. Get in the optimal physical, mental, and emotional state before you sit down to read. 2, eliminate subvocalization. Stop saying the words to yourself internally as you're reading along. A great site to help train your brain to do that is Spreeder.com. And then the third one is use a visual guide. Well, today was going to be kind of quick. I am starving. It's 5:30 here, time for me to go home. On Thursday, I'm going to finish the last 2 simple strategies for how to read faster. Let me give you a quick little preview. 4, read in chunks of 3 to 4 words. And 5, use your peripheral vision. Thank you, very helpful. You are so welcome. So if anybody is enjoying this, again, I will go through this on Thursday in more detail and answer any questions that people have. But tomorrow, I have a weekly series called Ask a Physicist Anything. Topics for tomorrow, we're not sure, but 2 things we're going to touch on are the physics of interstellar and quantum entanglement. Thanks, man. You're the best. I have to get your book. I love helping people, helping others. You are so welcome. And let me just do a little plug. I archive all of my Periscope videos on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joe McCullough. Like I said, I think today is 55 or 56. I've done scopes on goal setting, time management, brain tips for speakers. This is on how to read faster. Okay. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Joe. If you've enjoyed this, please follow. Share this with your followers. If you don't mind me, you have a quick question asking, are you wealthy? I am a college instructor. I'm working on becoming wealthier, but the answer is I still teach full-time. I'm doing this kind of as a project. I made a goal of periscoping every single day for an entire year. It's a huge goal for me, and it's been a challenge. And sometimes the only reason I'm actually on Periscope is because I've made a commitment to get on every single day. Okay, thank you again for joining. My name is Joe, and I hope to check you out later this week. Good goal. Thank you so much. All right, I will catch you all tomorrow.